The wind is changing. It carries the scent of damp earth and ancient secrets. Tonight is the night the world has feared for centuries, the night of the Genderuo. It is a time when the boundaries of our reality fray at the edges, and the unseen inhabitants of the darkness emerge from their slumber. This isn't just a local legend anymore. It's a global convergence. Imagine the silence of a forest, so heavy it hurts your ears. The trees don't rustle. They watch. This is the moment when the first crack appears in the sky, not of light, but of a deeper, more profound darkness. You are standing on the precipice of a night that will never truly end for those who witness it. Keep your breath shallow, for the spirits are drawn to the warmth of life. Do not look back. In the deep, humid jungles of Indonesia, the Genderuo stirs. A giant of shadow covered in dark fur with eyes that burn like dying embers. He is the king of this night, the harbinger who calls to his brothers and sisters across the oceans. His voice is a low frequency, a vibration felt in the marrow of your bones rather than heard. As he rises, the ground beneath him pulses. He is ancient, older than the cities, older than the names we have for God. He reaches out a hand made of smoke, and the signal is sent. Across the world, in every cemetery, every abandoned hallway, and every dark alleyway, something responds. The invitation is accepted. The gathering has begun, and the living are merely uninvited guests in a party of the dead. Can you feel the pressure in the air? That is his presence. Across the Atlantic, the call reaches the cold, jagged cliffs of Ireland and the misty highlands of Scotland. The banshee stops her weeping and lifts her head, her wail turning into a chilling song of welcome. She is joined by the white ladies of the old castles, their translucent forms flickering like candlelight in a draught. They glide over the moors, their feet never touching the heather. In Europe, the spirits are elegant but deadly, remnants of a history soaked in blood and betrayal. They bring with them the chill of the North Sea and the silence of the catacombs. They are the ghosts of nobility and the specters of the plague, all rising in unison. The fog thickens here, turning into a shroud that hides the faces of the damned as they prepare to join the grand procession. The air turns to ice, and your breath hitches in your throat. In the bustling cities of Asia, the concrete turns cold. From the shadows of Tokyo's narrow alleys, the Onryo crawls, her long black hair masking a face of pure vengeance. She is not alone. The Jiangxi of China leap through the moonlight, their stiff limbs moving with a rhythmic, terrifying precision. They are drawn to the call of the Genderuo, a primal pull that transcends their own folklore. The urban sprawl becomes a labyrinth of hauntings. Vending machines flicker, and the reflections in the glass windows aren't yours. These are spirits of modern tragedy mixed with ancient curses. They move through the neon light, their pale skin reflecting the artificial glow in a way that feels wrong to the human eye. The city is awake, but it is not the living who are moving through the streets tonight. The modern world is being reclaimed by the ancient dead.
The Americas respond with a chorus of sorrow. La Llorona walks the riverbanks, her cries for her children mingling with the howling of the wind. But tonight, her grief is overshadowed by the sheer number of those joining her. In the dense rainforests of the south, the Chulachaki mimics the sounds of the living to lead them into the deep dark. These are spirits of the land, of the earth and the water. They carry the weight of forgotten civilizations and the anger of the displaced. The woods are alive with eyes, hundreds of them, blinking from the hollows of trees. Every snapping twig is a footstep. Every whisper in the leaves is a name being called. They are converging, moving toward the center of the world, drawn by the magnetic pull of the night of the Genderuo. There is no sanctuary in the wilderness tonight. The earth itself is exhaling its ghosts. The air begins to grow thick with the sensory echoes of the past. It's not just what you see, but what you smell and hear. The scent of ozone, of rotting lilies, of old parchment and wet fur. The sound of heavy iron chains dragging across floorboards that aren't there. The whispering becomes a roar, a cacophony of languages long dead, all chanting the same rhythmic pulse. It is a sensory overload, a psychic weight that presses down on your shoulders. You might feel a hand on your shoulder, cold and dry, but when you turn, there is only the mist. These spirits are hungry for the memory of existence. They are tasting the air of the living world one last time, or perhaps for the first time in an eternity. The atmosphere is saturated with their desperation and their power. You are drowning in the history of the dead, and the surface is nowhere to be found.
Now the convergence is complete. At the heart of the world, in a place that exists between maps, they meet. A grand procession of the spectral and the macabre. The Genderuo stands tall, a pillar of shadow amidst a sea of translucent figures. There is no conflict here, only a terrifying unity. The Viking warrior stands beside the Aztec priest. The Victorian child holds the hand of a nameless shadow. They are the collective memory of humanity's fears, given form and voice on this one night. They march in a slow, circular dance, a ritual that keeps the cycle of darkness turning. The ground glows with a sickly phosphorescent light, illuminating the faces of 1,000 different cultures, all united in their death. It is a sight of horrific beauty, a masterpiece of the macabre that no living eye was ever meant to behold. You are witnessing the true face of the world.
The Genderuo raises his arms, and the sky itself seems to tear. The shadows he casts are not light-blocking, they are life-consuming. He is the bridge, the conductor of this symphony of the damned. Under his gaze, the spirits grow stronger, their forms becoming more solid, more real. For a few brief hours, the dead own the earth. They revisit their homes, they stand over the beds of the sleeping, and they whisper the truths that the living are too afraid to hear. He watches over them like a dark shepherd. His power is the power of the forgotten, the strength of everything we have tried to bury in the dirt. On this night, nothing stays buried. The Genderuo ensures that every debt is remembered and every soul is accounted for. He is the manifestation of the night's ultimate authority, and his reign is absolute until the first light of the sun.
If you were to see them, your mind would struggle to make sense of the geometry. They move in ways that defy physics, sliding through walls and bending the light around them. The terror isn't just in their appearance, but in the realization of how thin the wall truly is. You are separated from them by nothing more than a heartbeat. A single, fragile pulse is all that keeps you from joining the procession. The witness of the Genderuos is never the same again. The world looks different in the morning, flatter, less substantial. You realize that the shadows in your room aren't just lack of light, they are potential. They are waiting. The fear becomes a constant companion, a cold spot in your chest that never truly warms up. You have seen the truth of the night, and the truth is that we are never, ever alone.
But as the clock ticks toward the dawn, the energy begins to shift. The deep purple of the night starts to bleed into a bruised gray. The Genderuo knows his time is ending.
He begins to fade, his massive form dissolving back into the trees and the soil. The spirits follow suit, their forms losing their solidity, turning back into the mist and the whispers from which they came. The Jiangshi return to their coffins, the Banshee fades into the dew, and the Onryo retreats into the deep shadows. The grand procession breaks apart, the spirits scattering back to their respective corners of the globe. They leave behind a world that is silent and exhausted. The transition is slow, a reluctant retreat of the dark. The veil is thickening once again, sealing the gates until the stars align for the next gathering. The night is over, but the memory lingers.
The morning sun arrives, but it feels distant, unable to pierce the chill that has settled into the earth. You walk outside and the world looks the same, but you know better. You look at the shadows cast by the trees and wonder which one is waiting to grow. You look at the river and listen for a cry. The night of the Genderuo has passed, but it has left its mark on the world. The spirits have returned to their rest, but they are not gone. They are just on the other side of the glass, watching and waiting. They remember the warmth of the air and the sound of your heartbeat. And the Genderuo, he is still there, in the deep places where the sun never reaches, dreaming of the next time the veil will thin. Sleep soundly if you can, but remember, the night always returns.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the global shallows. The world is full of mysteries that defy explanation, and the night of the Genderuo is just one of many. If you felt the chill of the spirits tonight, let us know in the comments which legend haunts your nation. Knowledge is the only shield we have against the dark, so keep exploring, keep questioning, and above all, keep watching the shadows. We will be here to guide you through the next descent into the unknown. Until then, stay safe, keep your lights on, and keep your heart beating strong. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. The darkness is vast, but you don't have to face it alone. Goodbye for now, if the ghosts will let you go.